Good morning, pre-K, and happy Tuesday. We will be starting our last week of YouTube videos this week. But we will still be having our Zooms, and then on next week, on Tuesday, my class will be having our Zoom graduation, and the rest of the classes will be having your Zoom graduations next week too. How exciting! But we're going to keep learning until that is done. So, many of you may know what my favorite animal is. I know the kids in my class do. I know some of the teachers do. Mr. Mon's favorite animal is a turtle, a sea turtle to be specific, but I love any other kinds of turtles too. So I'm very excited to teach you about this today. Today we're going to be learning about the life cycle of a turtle. Last week we learned about the life cycle of a butterfly, and we experienced the life cycle of plants, and we experience in school the life cycle of the ducks, right? So now we're going to do life cycles of the turtles. I'm going to be pointing out some similarities between the life cycle of a turtle and what other things we have learned about. So I want you to pay special attention. Stage 1 of the life cycle of a turtle is laying eggs. Now, does that sound familiar to anybody about what we learned about last week with the butterflies? What's their first stage? If you don't remember, Miss Mom can show you. It's eggs. So look at that. Isn't that funny? Both turtles and butterflies, their first stage is, let me find my hand on it, eggs. They hatch eggs. They look like, kind of like the eggs you might find that you eat in a refrigerator. They're round and white, but they're a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can quite see here. Let me show you. They're in the sand. Why do we think they're in the sand? Well, I said that we're learning about the life cycle of a sea turtle. I should have been more specific. Turtles generally follow the same type of life cycle, but I thought to show the sea turtle life cycle was much more interesting because of all the things that happen and such cool stuff that happens during their life cycle. So as we said, stage 1 is the eggs. The mother turtle lays the eggs in the sand, and returns to the sea. So she digs a little hole, and there'll be a bunch of holes across the beach that these turtles have all come, and they've dug their little holes for their baby eggs. And they leave their baby eggs there to hatch, and they return to the sea, the mommies. When they are ready, the baby turtles hatch from the shell. That is stage 2. Look at this cute little baby turtle. Look at him coming out of his egg. Baby turtles will crawl out of their nest and find their way back to the ocean. That's stage 3, a young turtle. You can see he's trying to make his way back into the ocean. And stage 4 is an adult turtle. The adult turtles can live up to 180 years old. Isn't that crazy? That's super old. If anyone has watched Finding Nemo, we already knew this about sea turtles, right? They live to be really, really old. And then, as we explained, since it is a cycle, it will keep going around and around in a circle. This baby, who found its way into the ocean, became an adult turtle who will now lay eggs and start the cycle all over again, so that we can have millions and millions of baby sea turtles in the ocean. Miss Herman's dream. Now, there's something very interesting that also goes along with this. Since the mom is not there to protect the baby eggs, a lot of beaches protect the nests with fencing that prevents humans or animals coming to attack the baby eggs. Now, I wanted to show you this. Let's see if we can get a little closer. This is the mother laying her eggs, and we see how there is a little bit of a gate or a structure around it to show protection. That is the big giant hole, excuse my nails, the big giant hole that she dug. And look at all those baby eggs. How many of those turtles do you think are going to come out? And we see right here, this is the fencing that is kept to protect the baby eggs against humans, so they know not to walk over there or disturb the baby eggs, and also for animals. On the bottom, I have right here the mother turtle lays her eggs in the sand, and most nests are protected. Now, the coolest part of watching or learning about this life cycle as a turtle is to see what happens when they hatch and they find their way to the sea. Turtles instinctively know that they are to return to the sea when they hatch. So imagine being born and just knowing you're just a brand new baby. You've just hatched out of your shell and you know, I have to go back to the sea and find my mom. They have in their brains where they're supposed to go back to and find their mothers. Isn't that so incredible? So these baby turtles just hatched, crawl out of their holes. They work so hard. They crawl, they crawl, they crawl, they crawl, they crawl, they crawl, they crawl. And they get out of their holes and they naturally know which way to go to find the sea. It's very important that humans or other animals don't disturb them. We need to let their natural instincts take over. I will be attaching a video in the email that I send your parents so you could see this, because it's really something that is to be seen. And Mr. Mom would love to see it in person one day. Fingers crossed. But before I show you, or before you see the video, I have some pictures of it so you can get an idea. The baby turtles hatch, again, excuse my nails, from their little nest, and they all crawl out, and look where they're walking to, towards the sea. Look at all those baby turtles. They all know where to go, right to the sea, back to their homes. Turtles hatch from eggs, crawl out of the nest, and find their way back to the ocean. Personally, I don't know if this is just because it's Miss Herman's favorite animal, but I find this incredible that a baby animal can be born without its mother there, instinctively knows inside that it should find its way back to the sea and find its mom. So, just before we end the video and you watch the video of them hatching and going into the water, it's the cutest thing. It's so cool. I just want to go over what a life cycle is, just to make sure we understand. Why is it called a cycle? Now, last week we talked about it because it goes around and around in a circle. It continues from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4 and then back over again. This is true with turtles, plants, humans, butterflies, chicks, you name it. So I just want to show you again. See how it's in a circle? See the arrows? Stage 1 is the eggs. That little turtle gets born, a hatchling. The young adult turtle goes to the ocean. They become an adult turtle and they lay eggs. And then it starts all over again, just like with our butterflies and our chicks and our ducks and our plants. I want you to recognize the patterns. Oh, we know what patterns are, right? This is also a pattern. It also continues to go around and around and around in the same pattern. I want you to recognize the similarities and the differences between the patterns between life cycles that we're learning about, because that's a bit of something else to think about. And instead of just taking in what you're learning, why don't you extend it and think further? How is that the same as a butterfly? How is it different than a butterfly? How is it different than a plant? How is it the same as a plant? Well, let's say they're all the same, right? All the life cycles are the same because all of them start off as babies. That's a good, excuse me. That's a good idea, right? We see our chicks start off as babies. We see our butterflies start off as caterpillars. We see our plants that start off as little plants, and our humans start off as, of course, babies. And they grow into adults. They keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until they're adults like Mr. Mom. So I just want you to focus on not only the life cycle of a turtle, but the other ones that you have been learning about, and comparing and contrasting what's similar and different about these different life cycles that we're learning about? Let me know. Enjoy the video.